A report out of Florida tonight is a reminder to millions of Americans there is a strange and dangerous vulnerability underground: sinkholes. A man was in his bedroom. The earth opened up beneath the house and he fell in.
Horror struck the little house on Faithway Drive just before midnight.
The house just fell through.
These 911 tapes reveal the terror inside that house.
The bedroom floor just collapsed and my brother-in-law is in there. He's underneath the house.
A sinkhole some 30 feet across and up to 100 feet deep opened up directly beneath Jeff Bush's bedroom. His brother Jeremy says he tried desperately to save him.
I jumped in the hole and was trying to dig him out. I couldn't find him.
But we've just learned that rescue mission has been called off. That man swallowed up by that sinkhole simply can't be found. And tension is rising as more and more homes here are deemed dangerous. This house and now this house are also in danger of being swallowed up by the same sinkhole that took Bush and his bedroom 100 feet underground Thursday. His body possibly lost forever. How rare is what we've seen here?
Well, certainly you get at least dozens of sinkholes a year, but to have one occur right in the center of a home and certainly to injure and even kill somebody, I've never heard of that happening before.
Friday at 5 o'clock, fears that a San Francisco neighborhood could collapse. Right now, multiple sinkholes are creating a very dangerous situation.
There are at least a dozen sinkholes, not only in people's backyards, but also in their garages and underneath their homes where they can't even fully see how big they are just yet. And the concern with those sinkholes is that there are so many, not only on this side of the street, but also across the street. And since we can't see underneath the street, they're not sure if they're all going to connect, and that's what could cause the collapse.
Ancient Egyptian plagues return. That cloud back there, you see them coming. For folks that don't believe that the Bible is real, the Bible don't lie. These things are so big they look like little birds.
A 5.5 magnitude earthquake in China's southwestern Yunnan province has injured at least 30 people on Sunday. 3 of the injured are reportedly in serious condition. According to state media, the quake destroyed almost 1,800 homes and damaged more than 83,000 others. Over 30 aftershocks have been reported.
The focus of the intense rain has moved north to Mackay and the Wide Bay, where more than 300 millimetres has fallen in some centres.
At Eaton, west of Mackay, 24 hours of rain. It's taken over roads, swallowed cars and inundated cane fields. In low-lying areas, there's water as far as the eye can see. More than 300 millimetres fell across parts of the region by 9 o'clock this morning, and it's not over yet.
Forecasters are also monitoring the possibility of a cyclone forming in the Coral Sea.
At least 9 people have been found dead following a powerful blizzard that swept through the northern Japanese island of Hokkaido over the weekend. Rescue workers near the town of Nakashibetsu uncovered a family of 4. All died in their car as it was engulfed in snow. In the same town, a 23-year-old woman was found frozen to death near her stalled car. In the town of Ubetsu, a 53-year-old man was found dead in a snowy field. He had wrapped his body around his 9-year-old daughter to protect her from the cold.
Residents of the Florida town where a sinkhole claimed a man's life have a new reason to be nervous. A second sinkhole has appeared in Seffner, Florida.
Growing concerns tonight over several large sinkholes in San Francisco's West Portal neighborhood.
Tonight, winds are howling along the East Coast. Low-lying areas in New Jersey already underwater, now under voluntary evacuations.
See how big this massive snowstorm is tonight. There it is on the East Coast, the storm as seen from space.
We are getting tremendous wind off the ocean here. The ocean that, by the way, is getting closer.
Wind so strong, the federal government shut down.
It struck New England after churning past New Jersey, where winds of up to 70 miles an hour caused tidal flooding that left some shoreline communities underwater.
Developing tonight, Florida could soon be in for a major invasion of mega mosquitoes. These aren't just ordinary bugs. They're big. They actually sting when they bite.
Scientists say they are coming this summer. Horror movies have built plots around supersized insects for years, but this time, real research tells us giant mosquitoes 20 times the size of what you're used to could invade Central Florida in just a few months.
There is another war taking place in the Middle East, and this one has nothing to do with brutal dictators, terrorism, or a people's occupied land. This war has to do with rats, and we're not talking about just any rats. We're talking about very large rats, some as heavy as 5 kilograms. That's about 11 pounds. Rats as big as cats. Millions of them roaming around Tehran, according to officials. The problem so serious that Iran has literally declared war on these rodents. They've called out the army sniper units in an effort to pick off these rats, one rodent at a time. Why are these rats getting so big? Two schools of thought. Some say the rats have become immune to the rat poison the city is using, and the chemicals inside their body is causing them to mutate.
A day to most definitely stay out of the water. A shark warning closing beaches in the United States. Well, one shark off the south coast of Florida, but thousands of them.
Now, we want to show you the fast and urgent fight underway by doctors in states across this country tonight. They are trying to contain a new bacteria, kind of ordinary bacteria antibiotics don't reach, and even the CDC has called it a nightmare.
These almost untreatable superbugs alter other bacteria so that they fight off drugs as well.
It's resistant to virtually all antibiotics. So when an individual gets this microbe and it invades the blood or invades tissue, curing them becomes very difficult.
Fisheries experts are investigating what caused the death of thousands of fish on the Eyre Peninsula. The juvenile leather jackets have washed up along a 10-kilometre stretch of beaches south of Port Neal over the last week.
Absolutely incredible. I've never seen a fish kill like it in all my time travelling around the countryside.
A rare comet makes its debut in the northern hemisphere, visible to the naked eye. It will give you the best view you could have in years. In fact, some astronomers are calling 2013 the year of the comet as they identify more and more of these flying through space. Does it, though, raise questions about our safety here on Earth?
Dead pigs have been found floating in a river near Shanghai. Officials have launched an investigation. They say there is no evidence the pigs were dumped or had been infected. Water quality tests are now being carried out as the river supplies Shanghai residents with their drinking water.
More than 12,000 dead pigs found floating in one of China's main rivers.
Locals have been finding large numbers of dead pigs floating in their waters. Nobody seems to know why they've died or how they got there.
The Israeli Agriculture Ministry said a locust swarm of biblical proportions had crossed into Israel from Egypt and said it was spraying pesticides to try to contain the problem 2 weeks ahead of the Passover holiday.
This particular group was swept in from Egypt. locust invasion is in full swing with just 2 weeks to go before Passover. That holiday celebrates the biblical story of the ancient Jews leaving Egypt after Egypt was struck with 10 plagues. The 8th plague was the plague of locusts.
It's happening again. A big space rock the size of a city block is expected to head our way next hour. We know that this meteor exploded over Russia just a month ago, last month, and now we have this, and there was an asteroid last weekend. Is this just sort of a weird time, and should we be concerned about a potential impact?
And manatees along the southwest coast of Florida are dying in record numbers.
Officials say this is a catastrophe, as they sometimes find as many as 10 dead manatees a day. Already in just 2 months, they're approaching the record killed in an entire year.
And we have breaking news out west. A magnitude 5.1 earthquake has rattled a large section of Southern California. There are reports of aftershocks.
Mark Mihal and some friends were playing around at the Ambrier golf course last Friday when suddenly Mihal was missing. When his playing partners heard his calls for help, they realized that he had been swallowed by a sinkhole.
As his golf buddies looked on in disbelief, Mihal found himself being sucked 18 feet under the ground, fracturing his shoulder.
Dead fish are washing up on the shores of Rio de Janeiro's main lagoon, and no one is quite sure why.
The Rodrigo de Freitas lagoon used to be teeming with life, but not anymore. It seems that everything that used to thrive in the water has been killed.
America has issued a blunt new warning tonight to Iran about nuclear weapons.
And sharp words today about what the administration sees as America's 2 greatest threats, Iran and Syria. Time is running out for a peaceful solution to that nation's nuclear ambitions.
Big nations can't bluff, and presidents of the United States cannot and do not bluff, and President Barack Obama is not bluffing.
Now to North Korea, a nation that has nuclear weapons and is tonight threatening to use them against the United States, vowing to attack Washington and engulf the nation's capital, quote, in a sea of flames. As you can imagine, this outburst has prompted a strong response from the White House.
The United States is bolstering its missile defense on the West Coast by nearly 50% because of the intensifying threat posed by the secretive nation.
Breaking news now from the war in Syria, and this could be significant. Reports that chemical weapons have been used in that conflict. 25 are dead in a rebel chemical attack in northern Syria.
Heavy rains in Brazil triggered devastating mudslides on Monday, killing at least 16 people. The mountainous region of Rio de Janeiro state was hit by 24 hours of continuous rainfall. More than a month's worth of rain fell in just 24 hours.
Hailstorms with hail the size of eggs have struck southern China. The storm with wind gusts of more than 100 miles per hour have left a trail of destruction in the province of Guangdong.
An unusual tornado and hailstorm has killed 24 people in southern China's Guangdong province. Local officials say 272 people were injured, with 158 of them hospitalized. The wild combination of thunderstorm, hail, and a tornado hit the region with gusting winds of 110 miles an hour. Hailstone the size of golf balls and eggs smashed windshields, as this was the strongest tornado to hit the city since record-keeping began.
A discovery off the coast of Chile that has baffled authorities. Thousands of langoustines